SPSS, which stands for Statistical Package for Social Sciences, is an important and easily applicable software, and also a very popular software that enable individuals and researchers to enter data and analyze their data based on the requirements of their research projects. Actually, even though SPSS stands for a Statistical Package for Social Sciences, but because of its importance and providing different options or tests by this software, almost all disciplines use this software to enter their data and analyze their data based on the requirements of their research studies. I'm Dr. Abdul Qahar Sarwari, and regularly I use SPSS in my research projects to analyze the required data based on my research projects, and I want to share my experience and also some information based on the importance of different aspects of SPSS, actually, which is a very important an important software and enable us to enter our data and analyze our data easily. But it's very important when we learn how to use SPSS software. Besides that, it's important to know how to use and why to use different tests and different options, because SPSS provides options and tests for anyone, and just when we enter data, by clicking different tests, SPSS will bring some results. But it's very important to know why to use different tests and how to interpret the results and how to write and report the results. These things are very important. We have to learn such things, and we have to learn some basics of statistical analysis, and we have to consider tests and use all tests based on the requirements of our research studies. And the mentioned things are very important. But when we open the SPSS software, we have to download to our computers. We have to use any, but it's better to use the latest versions. SPSS has different versions. This version is the version 20. I used version 20, and also I have version 16 in my computer, because I have some data sets and use sometimes to analyze data, to compare some data. When we can see here differences in color, because the first color was before the time that IBM bought this software, and after that IBM brought some changes into the color and structure of SPSS software, and they changed the name into IBM SPSS Statistics. But when we learn the basics and the ways how to use different tests, there's no problem. We can apply in all options, in all versions, and know any different changes in the usage and applications of the software. When we open the software, here we can see two pages and two-page views. The first one is data view. Once we enter data, then we can see here this page would be active. And the second page, but we use at first, is variable view. Here some names for variables like name, type, weight, decimals, label, etc. And here numbers, already we have numbers, but when we put some data, then these things would be active. At first we have to start by putting the names of variables and information, but we have to be careful when we put the names. In this option, we cannot use any space or distance, and we cannot start by number, and also we cannot use some particular symbols, but we just put some names without a space. But when we have to write a space, we have to write with underscore. And for entering complete information and also with a space, we can put under label. Here, when we analyze our research study based on the requirements of some particular problem or issue or question, then we collect data, we have to be clear, we have to be aware that we have to put data based on the structure of our research project, and also we have to put data in the right order. For example, when we design a research project to assess the level of the importance or the effectiveness of social media and on the improvement of academic achievements of postgraduate students at an international university. And we consider some variables like age, gender, and level of education, like PhD and master's, to assess different information in different questions and also different items. That's why we put the mentioned variables, and also we enter some all questions and items of our questionnaire to use tests. And after that, we use different tests, basic tests like descriptive tests to know percentages, frequencies, and also mean and standard deviation scores. And also we use some other tests like t-test, ANOVA, correlation tests to know the relationship or differences between mean scores of our data. When we start here, we put the names. As I mentioned it, we consider our study based on some variables like gender, age, and level of education. Then we put our first variable, which is gender, and type. Actually, here we have many types, but two main types: numeric and string. Numeric for the variables in data we consider based on numbers. Actually, SPSS analyze data based on numbers, and there is a string which considers data of which we use words. But actually, even though gender starts by words, but we have two genders, male and female, and we will give values and give numbers. That's why we use numeric to enable us to analyze easily. And with it's important when we use a string, and it's okay. It shows the wideness of the data structure, and also we have decimals. Decimals means that when we have data besides complete numbers, we may have some decimals, but in genders, age, level of education, such things, we don't have decimals. We cannot say PhD minus that, or female minus something, because it's these things complete information. Then we no need to have any decimals. In level, here we can put a little more information. We can say gender of participants. Then it's very important, we have to know that, as I mentioned, it is SPSS analyzed based on numbers, but when it analyzed in particular tables and results, the program will share the main labels as well. Here we have variable gender, and also we have two gender groups, male and female. Then we have to give values and labels for both groups. The first one, value 1 for label male, we can add here, and 2 for female. Then add, and okay. Now we have two values for two labels and or two gender group. Missing, we mostly use missing for some huge data structure, numeric data structure analysis for this such variables like gender, level of education, such thing. No need to put in columns. Actually, columns, when we can add more or decrease column. When we put it, we show the wideness of the columns, but it is standard, no problem. Alignment, we actually we choose left or right or center when we put data to choose alignment based on the requirements of our data, but mostly it's better to choose left when we use numbers for basic information. And measure is very important. Here are three options. The first one is a scale. A scale covers both interval and ratio scales, which consider or cover some particular analysis based on exact data, exact values like temperature, money, or some other values. An ordinal option of measurement, ordinal actually measures some things, words, or information that consider different levels, like first, second, third, or higher or lower. And nominal considers information without any particular numbers or hierarchy, like higher or lower, just ordinary. In the gender, there is no particular level of higher or lower. We cannot say female has higher level of gender than male, or male than gender female. It's ordinary information. We can use nominal. And the second thing, we can put age. Age here, age actually numeric, because there are different age groups, and we put some values. And also we don't need to have decimals. We cannot say that 15 minus 5 or 13 minus. Actually, in reality, we have like 2 years and 5 months, like that. But in calculations and documentary, we cannot put just, we put year. And we can write here age of participants, the people who participated in our research. We can put it open. Any person can write his or her age, like 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. But if we have 100 or 200 participants, and they will have maybe 50 different ages, like it would be very difficult for us to categorize and analyze. That's why it's better to categorize the age of participants, because if we analyze do a study among postgraduate study, we know that it would be from 22 up to like 40 or 45. Some exception should be a few, but mostly people will be from these groups. We can put value 1 for 22 up to like 26. We add 2 for 27 to 32. Add 3. But we have to be careful when we do our research on postgraduate studies. We do not need to put 18, start from 18, because mostly 18 up to 22 students would be in bachelor level, bachelor level students, undergraduate. And when we put one number in one category, like to 22 up to 26, we don't have to put again 26 here, start from 26, because we can put one number in one category. Here 3 for 33 up to 38, and 4. We can choose just 4 options for 4 category. We can put more based on the requirements of our study. We can 4 for 39 and 39 plus. It means that 39 and more from 39. We add, in which is okay. Then missing no columns. Okay, again we choose left, because mostly in adjustment we choose left in English language to have our data in a good order. And actually again nominal, because it's ordinal, because we have different categories and levels. And we can say age level, the people who in third group, which includes 30 something up to 40. It's higher than first group, which includes 22 up to 26. It's ordinal. And the third is level of education. We just put level of education. It's again numeric because we give particular values in no decimals in level of education. We cannot see PhD minus or master's minus something. We can put here level of education. Then we put values, one for 12th grade or baccalaureate, and 2 for bachelor degree, 3 for master's degree, and 4 for PhD. Oh, here, 4 for PhD. Then add and OK. Again, OK, columns equal left, and it's also ordinal because there are some categories in levels, PhD higher than master and master higher than bachelor. And we put some question here. Now we have 3 particular demographic variables because we can put money based on the requirements of our study. When our study considers 3 demographic variables, which are gender, age, level of education, we just put this. Then we start from our questions. When we have questions in our questionnaire, we can see here in my research data here, for up to this area, like level of education, English language proficiency, and duration of stay. Then from here started some questions, particular questions. Because to save time, we can start to do analysis from this data, so no problem. Here you learned how to put data. If we start question, like we can put question 1, like at first we cannot put a number, but after word we can put number without distance. Of course, it's numeric with decimals. No need to have decimals, and we can put here question 1, and like we can put, because mostly we design our questions based on Likert skill. We can put 1 here, strongly agree, 2 agree, 3 neutral, no, don't have any particular idea, and 4 disagree, 5 strongly disagree. Yeah? Mostly in the Likert skills we can have more than 5, but it's better to have 5 options. Sometimes we can have 4 options as well, and we need the neutral option, because we have to give, we have to include opportunity in our questionnaire to have real answers of participants, and we choose OK. Then we have already we have options for our questionnaire. We can then we can put our question like this again, left, and it's ordinal, and again like this we can put all questions. We can put on all question on this, like question 2, again numeric, okay, and no need to have decimals, and we can write here question 2, then again 1 for strongly agree, add 2 agree, 3 neutral, 4 disagree, 5 strongly disagree. We know that when we write some items in our questionnaire, like the use of, we can put a item that the use of social media helps me to improve my academic achievement. Then we give option based on liker skills, strongly agree, agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. Then person can choose a particular option based on his or her own idea or answer. That's why we can have such options. And choose, there is, left and ordinal. Then when we start analysis, as I mentioned before, it's very important to know why to use particular tests. The first thing when we use analysis, the first option is descriptive statistics. But one thing is very important to know that when we collect our data, we have to test our data, whether the data is reliable and normal or not. We have to assess two things which are easily applicable through the use of SPSS. The first thing, normality of the data, because the data should be normal, and we can test it through the use of normal curve. And the second is internal consistency and reliability of the data. We can use through the test of Chromebox alpha. When we test based on the use of normal curve, the curve should be normal, and for normal curve, the mean square is 0, and the standard deviation is 1, and no wider critical issue for differences in data distribution. And also in Chromebox alpha, for social science, it's better to be 0.69 or 7 up to 0.99, because below 6 point, below than 0.69, there would be much differences. It would be difficult to analyze and have a particular conclusion. And also more than 0.99, it would be similar. Then no need to analyze the differences for similarity, because similar data. That's why Chromebox alpha should be in a reliable data and value with ordinal data and also good data from 0.69 up to 0.99. It's better from 0.7 up to 0.99. Okay, when we use descriptive tests, at first we can use frequencies. Then we have to transfer all this data into variable section. Then we start choose. Mostly we use a standard mean and a standard deviation, and also if we want to have some more tests to analyze the validity and test the validity, we can test skewness on some other things, but we use just these things. And also we can choose some charts. We can have our results based on numbers, and also some graphs and charts as well. We put here histogram and also normal curve. We use normal curve because we have to assess the normality of our data, then continue. Okay, we analyze. Then we can see here both information on our data and also frequencies. We have to put the data analysis. Analyze the descriptive frequencies. Okay, here gender, age of the then charts, bar charts. We can histogram. We continue. Okay, here the software did not give any information because we chose table because we don't have the exact we didn't put actually we didn't put the information here when we do our analysis. Okay, when we put the real variables, then we have to put information based on the questionnaire, like gender. It would put gender 1 for male, then age group 2, and also level of education 2, question 1 like 1, and question 2 3. Then we put, because when we don't have we don't enter information based on questionnaire, just based on variables, we will not have any particular result. Then we enter 2, 1 for male and 2 female. When in questionnaire there is female, when the person is a male, we could put here 1, and when female we put 2. Then in if the age group 2 we put 2, if age group 3 we can put 3. Level of education we put is 1, and question 1 for 3 if the option 3 was chosen for animal word 2, and in this question and the person choose the option of 2. Then we put 1 which is male, age category 1, and also level of education 2. Then question for question 1 the person choose the option 4. Then this for this choose the option 5, and another participant each as I mentioned earlier, each row represents just one participant, and columns represents information for any variable. Then we put again the participants is female, then we put 2, and we put age category 4, then for level of education 3, then for question 1 in fairness 2. Now we can analyze this because we have information. Then we go to analysis. We choose descriptive and frequencies. Now we already transferred this all options to this section. Then we'll start statistics. We choose already choosing mean and standard deviation. Then we go to charts. We use histograms and also normal curve. Then we go to continue, and now we have results, and we have to be careful of that. We may not have results. We'll do that. We cannot have results just by entering variables. Here we have results for this section. Okay. Then frequencies, valid, missing, mean, standard deviation. We can use mean and standard deviation scores for our interpretation of the data, and also here we can see some other information. In normal curves, here we can see that the curve is normal. Actually, the data is in the central area of the curve. We can find information based on the different structures, numbers, and also graph as well, and we can use this. And also when we need to save this, then when we analyze, we can also do some other tests like descriptive tests. We can transfer, just click and select all and transfer to variables. Then options, we can choose some options, mean, standard deviation, again in the variable list and range, variance, any information that you want, but based on the structure of the study we have to use. Then we can find all information in one table. We have to be careful when we want to use this table and this information. We have to choose this and click right and copy and paste in a Word. Then we can use this. Can bring some changes, but not in the main result, but in the structure of table we can bring some results. And when we do some more tests, actually, when we want to know the relationship or the differences between different variables in different aspects of our data. As I mentioned it, we can test the reliability of analysis when we go to scale, then choose reliability analysis and transfer our data into items scale, and we have to say, okay, here we can say that it's minus alpha Chromebox alpha because we don't have a real data set. When we have a real data set, of course, there would be valuable and reliable Chromebox alpha. We can do this test to test the reliability of our data and also the level of internal consistency of our data. Then there are some important tests like compare means. It means that comparing the mean scores of a sample with population and also different variables. We know the differences between mean scores. Here are some tests. We have one sample t-test, different three kinds of t-test, and one way ANOVA, and also we have also two ways ANOVA. One sample t-test we have to, when we consider just testing differences between mean scores of just two variable and two options. We use one sample t-test. Actually, when we use we transfer the data as usual. We choose options. Options already chosen, and we say okay. Then we can have results based on this level standard deviation, t-test score, and also degree of freedom, and also all information based on mean differences based on the t-test. But we have to be careful. There are some mean differences when we use such tests. Here are two other options: independent samples t-test. When we have two data sets from two different groups, like when we assess the level of the effectiveness of social media on the improvement of academic achievements between PhD students and master students. We have two independent groups, but we consider the same thing. Data from two groups, but consider the same things. We use independent sample t-test because two different groups, not the same. But here we have peer sample t-test. We have the same participants, like master students, and we do some pre-test and post-test. We collect data two times from the same people. We collect at first, then we prepare some courses how to use social media. Then after that, we collect data again. Then we compare mean scores of same group. Then we use peer samples t-test. In ANOVA t-test, we use just when we have two variables and two data groups or categorical groups. And when we have more than two, we use one-way ANOVA or ANOVA. And actually, we use t-test and ANOVA for parametrical data, parametrical and non-parametrical. When we use a sample to have some assumptions about population, and also there would be some particular values, it would be parametrical and non-parametrical. And if we just consider data based on sample, just on sample without any consideration on population, such data would be non-parametrical. And also here would be correlation test. Bivariate correlation provides information on the relationship between variables. We have two-tailed correlation test and also one-tailed. When we consider the critical area of distribution, two sides, and also when we consider the relationships on two sides, both negative and positive, we use two-tailed. But when we use when we focus on one side and critical area of distributing the data, and when we just consider on one part positive or negative, to consider the relationship, then we use one-tailed. One-tailed is more stronger and more clear than two-tailed, and mostly in ordinary studies we use one-tailed. We transfer data, select all data, then we transfer here, and we say, okay, there would be some correlations. Yeah, we can say correlations between different items. Then it's very important to know how to use tests and why to use tests. Because why to use correlation? Because if there is a particular question in our research study or any hypothesis to assess the probable relationship between different variables in different aspects of our study, then we use correlation. Maybe we have a hypothesis that the level of academic achievements of master students has correlations with the level of their purposefulness of the use of social media. Then, of course, these questions and this hypothesis asks us to test relationships. That's why we use correlation test. And it's very important to know that when we learn SPSS, when we enter our data into SPSS, we have to know that why to use tests. And there are different tests, and different tests provides different information, and we have to know how to use tests, why to use tests, and how to interpret the results, and how to report the results and share the results with people and enable them and help them to use clearly. Thank you.